Midnight Mastermind.
Indeed it is. I don't need to tell you this, but I will anyway. Final one of the week. It has been a solid week of great subjects, such as...
the documentaries of Louis Theroux.
Gardening names and numbers.
Pinball.
Yeah, and I've trended brilliantly this week. A full house, a 2 out of 3, then a 1 out of 3 yesterday on pinball. If you want to check out Erin, she's got a YouTube series all about playing pinball. It's called Learning to Flip. And I ended up watching off the back of it, a pinball tournament online. Loved it. So then, let us find out what our subject is this morning by saying hello. What is your name?
Hello, I'm Neil Collins. How are you, OJ?
I'm all right, Neil Collins. I don't have a pen, Neil Collins, so I'm just going to remember your name, Neil Collins. Oh, thank you, Will. Right, where are you in the world, Neil Collins?
I'm in Bridgend in South Wales.
Bridgend. Excellent. Why are you up late? Is it to speak to me?
It's to speak to you, yeah.
Perfect. The final question then, Neil in Bridgend, who's up late to speak to me. What are we doing? What's the specialist subject?
So, I've just written a book on the boom period of Welsh music called Cymru in the 90s, all about the Manics and Super Furries and Stereophonics and Catatonia and many more. And yeah, I grilled Phil in your absence last month, I should say, on the Manic Street Preachers, and he had 3 out of 3 with a bit of help. With a bit of help, I may add. But yeah.
Boo! Cheat, Phil! You cheat! Boo! But you can help me. You can help me as well, okay, Neil?
No pressure, OJ. So.
What are we doing?
It's going to be the Super Furry Animals.
Oh, okay, the Super Furry Animals. Okay. Can I tell you one thing about the Super Furry Animals right at the start? Never listened to one of their albums once, but I know who they are, so stay there for me. We'll play one song, and I'll do some pretty emergency research on the Super Furry Animals. Whoa, that was ending quicker than I thought. Let me just read this last fact about them. They attempted to convert an aircraft carrier into a nightclub. There you go. Just remember that. The Super Furry Animals is the subject of our Midnight Mastermind. It's Neil in Bridgend, who has written a new book. What is the book called, Neil? Tell us the name of the book.
So it's called International Velvet, How Wales Conquered the 90s Charts. It's on a publisher called Calon by the University of Wales Press. And yeah, it's perfect for any fan of Super Furries, Manics, Gorky Zygotic Monkey, Catatonia 60-foot dolls. But yeah, obviously the title references the Catatonia song, Every Day When I Wake Up I Thank the Lord I'm Welsh. So although it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, it does sort of indicate that change, that shift in confidence of the Welsh nation in the 90s.
Well, I grew up through the 90s. They were my formative years when it came to music. And it was just hit after hit after band that came out of Wales. What was it? What was it that sort of started this amazing move of music? Because they just took over the charts.
Yeah, I suppose it was a little bit closer to maybe Uncool Cymru at the start of the 90s. I think there was a real vibrant Welsh language scene in the 80s. Coffee Pawb and Akir being two of the bands who later would kind of morph into the Super Furry Animals and Catatonia. With that, then you've got like a generational talent like the Manics coming through. You've got the Stereophonics, who are a really solid commercial success with, like, you know, I think with 8 #1 albums now. And it was just a real sort of golden era of all those bands pretty much coming through within a year or two of each other. So it's really inspiring, like even today's scene in Wales.
Yeah. What's the one juiciest tidbit from the book? If there was one bit from the book.
Oh, geez. Yeah, you'll have to read it, OJ. Yeah.
Great. That's the way to do it. Yeah. I will buy myself a copy. Let me set the mood.
Midnight Mastermind.
I don't know how I'm going to do here, because I know the Super Furry Animals. I've liked their singles. I've just never owned an album. But I do know they were wild. They were wild as a band.
Absolutely. So, right. The first question then, OJ. Which Hollywood star was briefly the singer in an early lineup of Super Furry Animals?
He's somebody who looks like he, to this day, should still be the front singer of a band. It was Rhys Ifans.
Hey,
there you go.
Done.
That's a good start. I'm coming for you, Phil.
High up on the Wikipedia page,
It was quite high up on the Wikipedia page. Do you know what? I ended up on, I think, I don't even know what paper it was. I was on the 20 wildest stories about the Super Furry Animals. So if your questions are wild, I'm in here.
Yeah, so he was a childhood friend of the drummer in the band. He later was a housemate of his and befriended the rest of the band. And in March 2022, the first ever Super Furries song, which was recorded with Reese Evans, was released from confinement, called Of No Fixed Identity. So after nearly 30 years, yeah.
There you go. Right, let's go question 2. Let's see if I can keep this up.
The Super Furries 2001 track, Receptacle for the Respectable, featured a bizarre cameo of a musician chewing carrots and celery. What was it?
So who was the person? Who was the musician?
Yeah, on the track Receptacle for the Respectable. Yeah.
Chewing carrots and celery. Was it Eric Cantona?
No, it's an actual musician. I'll give you that little clue if you want. An iconic, huge musician, like one of the biggest you could think of.
Madonna.
No.
Okay, I'm just going to say I don't. Was it Prince?
No.
I'm just saying musicians now. Was it Moby?
Well, yeah, I suppose he's vegan, so he would be eating that sort of thing. But no, it was Paul McCartney.
Really? Oh,
Yes.
because he's a vegetarian?
No, the rumour has it that he did the same thing on a Beach Boys track called Vegetables in 1967. So the Super Furries are fans of the Beach Boys and asked him to do the same thing for them, yeah.
What a great question. What a terrible answer. Let's go question 3.
Right. The Super Furry Animals sponsored which football team in 1999?
Oh, okay. So, it wasn't Cardiff City. I'm sure it wasn't. So I'm going to say, because they're from South Wales, I'm sure. Was it Swansea City?
Oh, I don't know whether I can accept your first or second answer, OJ.
Was it Cardiff?
It was Cardiff, yeah.
Oh, well, listen, you're in charge. Is that right or wrong?
Go on, I'll give it to you.
Oh, right. Do you know what? I put the booze in because I was completely sure you were going to tell me it was wrong.
So, yes, in September 1999, they became the first band in history to sponsor a Football League team, and it was for the Football Association Wales Premier Cup clashes. So they had Super Furry Animals across the shirts, but it didn't really bring them much luck because they lost in the final to Wrexham 2-0.
Wrexham, never heard of them. Who are Wrexham, mate? Neil, they were such great questions about what is one of the all-time bands, not just one of the all-time Welsh bands, but full stop. They were wild and I loved them for that. Remind us the name of the book.
So it's International Velvet, How Wales Conquered the 90s Charts.
It's a fabulous title for a book, which I'm sure is great, and I'm going to read it. Neil, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers. There you go, Neil, who has written that book, International Velvet. We had to play some Super Furries, and we are. Super Furry Animals. Ow! Shout out to Reese Evans. If you want